All right, welcome to the new year, everybody. I'm calling to order the City Council meeting for North Bend, Washington, January 5th, 2021 by virtual meeting. Will the clerk please confirm the roll?
All council members are present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You know, I noted if my count is anywhere near right, this is our 24th council meeting together, not counting workshops, other things like that. On the one hand, I'd like to call for a redo, start over January 2020. It was a positive meeting. We were all in council chambers together. We got to see each other. There was some swearing in, not just swearing at. We had the opportunity to visit one-on-one with people in the audience and a variety of other things. It was such a great start to the year. On the other hand, since I don't want to go through a year like that again, let's welcome in this new, more hopeful, positive, and perhaps transformational year for us all. So thank you very much for being with us tonight. On tonight's agenda, the first item is consent. We have 4 items on that agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
A motion, I have a second.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Godhelp, second by Ms. Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It is unanimous. Thank you very much. At this time, we will accept citizen comments from anything that is not on tonight's agenda. If you are a member of the public and wish to address council, please indicate in the chat box or by *9, and we will call upon you. You'll have 3 minutes. Please lead with your full name and address. We'll pause momentarily. Dawn, do we have anyone?
No, I believe the only citizen or person we have in attendance is speaking on an agenda item.
A little later. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. With that, next item on the agenda, announcements, presentations, and appointments. It is National Mentoring Month. And I do understand, and I do see you there, Kathy Hyland with Snoqualmie Valley Community Network is with us tonight, the Youth Success Mentoring Program. I'm going to read the proclamation and then we will, I'll call upon Kathy if she wants to share a few words and in case council has any questions or comments. So Office of the Mayor proclamation, whereas January 2021 will mark the 19th anniversary of National Mentoring Month, an annual campaign to focus attention on the needs for mentors, as well as how each of us can work together to increase the number of mentors to help ensure positive outcomes for our young people. And whereas the City of North Bend appreciates and honors those caring adult mentors who support young people by showing up for them when needed and demonstrating their commitment to help them thrive. And whereas mentoring programs like Snoqualmie Valley Community Network's Youth Success Mentoring make our communities and our state stronger by driving impactful relationships that increase social capital for young people and provide invaluable support networks. And whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic, mentoring programs have stepped up to fill gaps for young people and families, connecting them with resources and ensuring that mentoring relationships continue virtually to ensure that physical distancing does not mean social disconnection. And whereas mentoring plays a pivotal role in career exploration and supports workplace skills by helping young people set career goals, equipping mentors with skills needed to support the professional growth of young people, and drives positive outcomes for young people and businesses. And whereas quality mentoring promotes healthy relationships and communication, positive self-esteem, emotional well-being, and growth of a young person and their relationships with other adults. And whereas students who meet regularly with their mentors are more than 52% less likely than their peers to skip a day of school, and youth who face an opportunity gap but have a mentor are 55% more likely to be enrolled in college than those who did not have a mentor. And whereas National Mentoring Month is the time of year to celebrate, evaluate, and to encourage mentoring across our state and recruiting caring adult mentors in the city of North Bend. Now therefore, I, Rob McFarland, Mayor, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2021 as National Mentoring Month in the city of North Bend. And I encourage those interested in becoming a youth mentor to contact Snoqualmie Valley Community Network and thank the current youth mentors for devoting their time and effort to ensuring the success of our youth. Signed this day, Rob McFarland. Kathy, if you're there, you'd like to say a few words, would you please unmute?
Hi, Mayor. I appreciate it. On behalf of Snoqualmie Valley Community Network, we'd like to thank the council and the mayor for supporting our program. I am the coordinator for the Youth Success Program here in the Valley, and I coordinate Snoqualmie Valley schools. And it's just so wonderful that you are all encouraging and educating community members to the importance of mentoring. People who step up to volunteer to mentor a child can change the course of their life. Now in the time of pandemic, mentoring is more important than ever due to the isolation. We're really seeing that effect with our kids. But the plus side of that is we're really seeing the effect of how it's helping the kids. We're seeing what isolation is doing, but we're seeing what mentoring is doing to help them. For the first time ever, we actually have kids that are logging onto Zoom early and getting there before our mentors because they're so excited to talk to somebody outside of their household. Mentoring is simple. You volunteer an hour a week, you show up, you play games with them, you talk to them. It's all social. You're not advising them on academics or tutoring. You're just simply being there and sharing time with them for an hour a week. And over the course of time, you get to know them. And hopefully you can help guide them and make a difference as a constant adult in their life. So if you guys know anyone looking to mentor or a great volunteer gig, I highly encourage you to send them our way. I just can't iterate the importance of it. You know, for me, mentoring made a huge difference. I had a really rough childhood, went through a lot of adverse things that happened in my childhood. And thanks to a mentor, I was able to navigate through it and become a really productive adult, which I can't say the same for some of my friends who ended up on drugs or in jail or pregnant as teens. So I consider myself really lucky that I had a mentor. And I'm so privileged to run this program now that I'm getting towards retirement. For those that you don't know me, I used to run a daycare here in the Valley for 21 years. And I just retired that this year. And I'm really excited to be a part of this great program. So thank you very much. And I do encourage you to reach out to your friends and ask them to volunteer and help a child out. Thanks, everyone. I'm open to questions if anybody has questions.
Thank you, Kathy. Council? Comments, questions? Seeing that, Chris, were you saying something?
I was just going to say thank you to all the mentors that we do have. Kathy, thank you for running this program. It does make a difference. So thank you.
You're welcome. So, and you know, the way we find our mentors is word of mouth. It comes from community members encouraging community members to step up. It doesn't take a lot of time, especially right now with COVID, it's all via Zoom. We will eventually go back to in-person mentoring, you know, once the pandemic allows that. So thank you, you guys. Hi, Heather.
Thank you. Hi, so Kathy, thank you. She was the daycare lady for my daughters when they were 3 and 5 years old.
A long time ago.
Yeah, it was. And you did a great job with them. It made me feel safe, and I'm sure you're a really great mentor too. So thank you so much.
Well, it's wonderful to see you as a council person now. So
Well, thank you.
thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you,
Kathy,
Kathy.
thank you very much for being with us tonight. Susie will get you the official signed
Great,
proclamation.
great. Thank you very much, guys. Stay
Thank you so
safe and
much.
happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Appreciate what you do. Agenda item number 6 is AB 21002, 2021 Council Standing Committee appointments. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Yes, Your Honor. I think that we've got this nailed down pretty good. I think that everybody hopefully got what they asked for. I'm looking forward to welcoming 2 council members to be chairs of committees for the first time. I'm excited to announce that. So I'd like to make a motion to approve AB 21-002, confirming the 2021 appointments to the council standing committees.
Second.
Well, I
think I inched you in.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Elwood was the second. Mr. Garcia made the motion. Any comments? Anybody want to disparage the new pro tem for putting you in one of those slots?
I'm excited.
All right. All in
You did a
favor?
great job. Thank you.
All right, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Seeing and hearing none, the motion carries and it is unanimous. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to another great year. And really appreciating Chris stepping up into the pro tem job. We've already kicked off and had several meetings. It's going to be a good year. Item number 7, AB 21003, a motion authorizing collective bargaining agreement for the Public Works employees. Ms. Lindell.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Before you this evening is a proposed collective bargaining agreement between the city and the Teamsters covering your Public Works employees, 16 employees at the city. This was a tough negotiation that occurred shortly after the pandemic, and it was unusual in that we were dealing with some real economic struggles, both in our budget and just in the general economy during these negotiations. For the city team, it was comprised of myself, Don Masco, Dave Miller, of course, in consultation with Mayor Robb. And the labor team was comprised of Chad Baker, who is our Teamster union rep, and then a couple of folks from the Public Works group. And we follow interest-based bargaining. This won't be new to any of you. I think even now Mary and Heather have heard about interest-based bargaining. We think it's a better process where we try and find some common interests. And council has also helped us out in these negotiations because you adopted a financial policy about how you wanted to pay your employees. And this was a policy based on really being able to recruit outstanding employees, but also retain folks so we avoid the high cost of turnover. And that was to pay at midpoint of market. And we talk about it as saying we don't want to pay, we're not the beat up Volkswagen. We're also not the very expensive Cadillac. We're somewhere in between. Our sweet spot is midpoint of the market. And when Don and I first received the city and looked at our compensation policy, we were all over the board. And I'm really happy to report that that policy has served us well, because when we entered this negotiation, our wages were very close to market because we've been following that council policy. So what are some of the city's interests? First and foremost, it's our ability to pay. Again, it was a somewhat challenging year because of that. We also want the employees to have some skin in the game when it comes to benefits. We think that that makes us all better fiduciaries of medical benefits. If we're paying in, we use them more judiciously. We also avoided a double insuring, which was also paying more than one premium for folks that already had a premium. We call that the Federal Way provision because it's a provision we took from Federal Way. And we were able to retain that, although each negotiation, the union is interested in removing it, but we did retain that, and we had an interest in retaining it because that is important to the city. And then finally, we wanted to make sure we do pay at market, and that any increases are tied to market, not just being in the same position. So the collective bargaining agreement before you, we believe, achieves that interest. A couple things I'd like to highlight. There is a 3-year term, which is good for your employees. As I mentioned, this was 9 months of work. This takes a lot of time, and you want the longest term possible, and that, in fact, is a 3-year term under state law. We were able to retain the Federal Way provision, and we were able to stay with your market adjustments. I will say that this group had asked us, because we have had difficulty filling some of these positions, particularly in the wastewater treatment plant, had asked us to consider going higher than midpoint of the market. And we were very firm, and they ended up agreeing to go with what council's policy was, which was midpoint. And then in order to ensure that we don't have to play catch up, because we don't like to play catch up at the end of a 3-year term, we've agreed to some cost of market or cost of living adjustments over the 3-year term. In 2021, the contract provides for a flat 1.5%. In 2022 and 2023, the contract provides for a range based on the consumer price index for urban workers. And for instance, that in the last 12 month cycle was approximately 0.07%. And economists are predicting over the next 2 years, because we are going to see somewhat, a recovery from this pandemic, but we anticipate it not being significant recovery. We anticipate that CPI being around that 1.5% over the next 2 years, but it would provide for a range between a minimum of 1% and a maximum of 3%. In addition, one of the city's interests has been to have equity among bargaining unit members so that we don't have different classes of employees. That just never works well. But I have to tell you, in this negotiation, and because the clerical contract was settled right at the start of the pandemic, when we all thought we were going to shut down businesses for 2 weeks and then be back to work, in mid-March, I think none of us could predict this. And because of that, the clerical contract does provide significantly higher annual increases for that bargaining unit. That provides a 3% in year 1 and then 2.5% in years 2 and 3. I do want to thank the union, because although they fought hard and wanted the same increases, they understood that your city and your council was really having to work hard in crafting a budget that we could adopt. And so they were willing to drop that annual increase significantly to the 1.5% and then the minimum 1% in years 2 or 3. This contract also includes a provision which council struggled with in March for the clerical workers, and that is a deferred compensation match. The city currently has a deferred compensation account that any employee can contribute to. And employees, when they retire, if they work long enough in public government, are entitled to a state-funded retirement system called PERS. And it depends on how long they've worked with the city. Employees we hire today are entitled to a benefit that's equal to about 1%. It's a fixed benefit, 1% for each year of service. So if somebody works 25 years, they'd be entitled to 25% of the salary. But because that doesn't fully cover retirement, many employees elect to have other 457 plans, which is kind of similar in the private sector to a 401k. And there are limits when you invest money into these plans as far as what you can take it out and what you can use it for. And if there's a penalty if you take it out before retirement. So we've had that plan, and there's nothing in the collective bargaining agreement that changes that. What the collective bargaining agreement provides is an incentive for employees to contribute to that plan, and that the city would match up to $150 a month if they elect to make that contribution into the plan. It is the exact same provision as the clerical. And although your team mentioned that this was a hard year to bring forward new benefits because we were in the middle of a pandemic and we had economic challenges, the union felt like this was very important, and that's why it's in the proposal before you this evening. I will say that it is not uncommon to have such a provision. I had it at the city of Mercer Island. I didn't have it at my former city, Federal Way. I know Snoqualmie provides it, and they match up to $300 a month. So you do see it in other cities. I think it is going to be, I know it's been a challenge for the council to consider a new benefit because we are in the middle of a pandemic and we do have some economic challenges. But our team felt like it was what was necessary to get this contract with the lower COLAs or commas presented to the council for approval. So with that, I am prepared to answer any questions.
As we go to questions, I want to particularly thank Londi for leading that effort. It was one of the bigger assignments that she performed for us this year and did it brilliantly. We do support, I think we did land in the right place. It's unfortunate we have a little disparity between the two, but we're doing the right thing. With that, any questions from council before we call for the motion? Seeing none, this went through FNA. So that would be Mr. Gotthelf. Would you like to make the motion, please? You're muted, Alan, you're muted.
Still muted.
Still muted. There we go.
Couldn't find my mouse to unmute, sorry. Motion to approve AB 21-03, authorizing the mayor to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters covering the public works employees.
Second.
Motion by Alan, second by Brendan. Is that what I saw?
That's correct.
To approve. Comments?
I'll leave it to others to comment. I'm gonna, same thing as I said the last time. My biggest issue is adding additional benefits like the deferred compensation has been my issue. It's going to hurt us in other bargaining, which we're continuing to do. And that's about all. I'll let other people speak to it, but that's my biggest heartburn right now.
Thank you, Mr. Gotthelf. Brendan, you made the second. Do you want to speak?
Yes, okay. No, I don't have anything to add. I think there's been a lot of work put into this. I understand my colleague's concern, but at this point, I'm just ready to move forward with this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, sorry, Jonathan, didn't see you there. Go.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, administration, for negotiating this. Overall, I think it's a good outcome during difficult times. I still have the same concerns I had a couple of months ago with our first round with the clerical unit. I've never voted against a union contract until that one. And the provision there that caused that vote is still here today, which is adding an additional benefit. These benefits, while they may seem inexpensive today, tend to grow in scope and cost to the city over years. And I always have a concern about adding that burden to future councils and administrations. In addition, the timing of this is problematic due to the fact that we are seeing financial pressures due to COVID. So I have that concern as well. I'll leave it at that, but those are my concerns with it. And it's primarily the additional benefit that we're adding. The rest of the contract I really do like, and I think you guys have done a fantastic job. That's all for tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? With that, and I'll call for a vote on motion to approve AB 21-003, authorizing the mayor to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters covering public works employees. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
I see the ayes have it with 2 opposed, Member Gotthelf and Member Rosen. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. With that is the end of our agenda. We'll move on to mayor, council, and administrator concerns and initiatives. Ross, I've got you up.
Thank you, Your Honor. After the governor's conference this afternoon, I think it's clear that we're in for an additional period of constraint with regard to the COVID crisis. I know that many here in the community are suffering some hardships, but I think it's also important to say that I've been remarkably pleased at the amount of compliance and the resiliency of the community and everybody who's working here. You know, it's not over. It's not the end. It's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning. And we're moving forward. And I hope that it ends quickly. But in the meantime, help support Heather and those like her in our first responders community, and keep doing what you're doing, folks. You're doing a great job. I don't think we often hear that enough. I think everybody's doing the best they can, and look forward to happy and prosperous 2021 as we come out of this. That's about it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm staying positive and hopeful going into 2021. The sound of 2021 makes me happy just to say out loud. I look forward also to a productive year, and also please everybody take care of yourselves and each other.
Thank you, Ms.
That's
Miller.
it.
Mr. Godhill.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all. I would like to echo the thoughts of everybody else. We're still in the middle of this pandemic. We're still seeing increases in the numbers. Hopefully we begin to see the downside as we get into 2021. I'm excited to see and hear that our first responders and hospital workers are being vaccinated. From that point of view, my biggest frustration is we're not doing it quick enough, and I think there's opportunity to do it. Frustrating that I know from an emergency perspective that there have been plans years for pandemic at the state level to distribute these types of things, and none of that has been activated. So my hope is over the next couple of weeks that we get our heads together and figure a way to be able to get people vaccinated quicker, and not have a bunch of vaccines sitting where they're not being utilized by the public. Because the way we're going to get out of this is everybody getting vaccinated. And it looks like not much in the way of issues with it. We are getting through, most of our firefighters are getting it. The biggest issue is, again, they have to make appointments and do it either on their time or other times to try to get vaccinated. And I'm sure it's the same thing that Heather may have experienced in the hospital. But there's got to be a better way to get these out. And my hope is that we find something soon.
Thank you. Speaking of which, Ms. Cullen.
Yeah, I watched Jay Inslee today too, and I felt very positive about what he had to say. And I want to thank everyone for their continued efforts to stop the spread. And also they stated that Washington Department of Health stated that per the CDC, Washington State has one of the lowest rates of COVID-19 cases across the nation. And that makes me really happy because I'm competitive and I live here. So that's great. And the restrictions are working. Keep at it and get vaccinated when you can. And actually, Alan, University of Washington, it went really smooth with our vaccination setup. It was great.
Awesome to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much. Mr. Elwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. Echo the sentiments as well. My biggest concern is that people hold fast, don't succumb to COVID fatigue. Through the Christmas holiday and as early as last week, I'm learning of members of my family both and extended family who have now passed because of COVID, and hearing people think that it's still a political thing. It's troubling. So it's very real. News out of LA and ambulances being told to leave people who are not going to make it. Don't bring them to the hospital. That's real stuff. So I just hope that folks just hang tight, follow the protection and the procedures that are laid out because they are designed to help us. It's not a political game, and just keep going with it. And I agree with Councilmember Laudenbach's point that what I'm seeing is most people are adhering to it. So I respect and appreciate that within our community. So just bear with it, stick tight, don't succumb to COVID fatigue, keep the masks on, and just keep being smart. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rosen.
Yeah, just echo everyone. Appreciate everything everyone's out there doing, making us safe. Happy New Year's, everyone. What I am looking forward to most this year is not talking about COVID anymore. I hope we get to that point soon. I appreciate what everyone in the community is doing to pull their own weight and get us through this. Hang in there. There's an end coming.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Garcia.
Well, Mr. Rosen, your wish of not talking about COVID probably isn't going to happen this year. I'll remind you of the famous word of snowmageddon. You know, we talked about that for 2 years and apparently still are. I think one thing that kind of slipped under the radar today, I'd like to say thank you to Miss Lindell. I believe ended her legal services contract. We are in the great hands of Mr. Mike Kenyon again, which to me, when that whole situation went down, was important for us to stay with Kenyon Deason. They've served us well for many, many years. And Londi was a big part of allowing that to happen. So I know this is one of those little things that most people don't realize, but thank you for stepping up and helping us stay with a great partner for the city. It was important, and it was the right choice, in my opinion. I will
my comments out that I had. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. I would like to wish everybody a happy new year. I'll echo the same sentiments. Everybody, please stay diligent. While the state of Washington is one of the low men on the totem pole, it appears that North Bend is one of the high ends of the totem pole as far as a percentage. I get that we're a small town and have that, but please be safe. I don't know what's going to happen with the kids going back to school or not. That's a meeting that's coming soon. So just please, you guys stay safe. I'm knowing of more people that are getting it. And, you know, I understand that people need to see their families for the holidays. But if you chose to do that, please buckle down now for the next couple of weeks and let's stop this from spreading. I'd like to remind the council that on January 26th at 7 p.m. via the fabulous Zoom format, we're going to start our council retreat. And if necessary, and I'm going to use that clause, if necessary, we will continue that on February 7th. I think that there's a chance we might be able to get this knocked out in a meeting or two, and it seems like we're all in agreement for the most part on continuing to stay the course. I wish all my council members and staff a safe 2021, and I'm looking forward to serving as your mayor pro tem. I also just want to remind you that I'm ornery as all can be, and I will just continue to bug you until you answer me. So just a piece of advice. That's all.
Is that supposed to be a surprise you're honoring?
No.
Okay.
Very excited by the pro tem this year. Mr. Miller, do you want to share a few words? You need to unmute.
There we go. I'm really positive about this next year. The mayor and the executive team have been working very hard, as the council has, on getting some priorities together and finding out how we take the foundation that we built in 2020 despite COVID. I think our team has worked well together and it's working better each month. And I think we're going to get a lot done this year. And we've got everybody kind of rallied around us in our various departments with these priorities and waiting for the council to finish with the next couple of months worth of work. And we will have a work program for the year, and I think you're going to see a lot get done. I'm looking forward to it. I think we have a lot of opportunity. I'm hoping our hotel comes out of the ground, and a number of the things that we've been working on for a long time come to fruition this year. We did make a really landmark, I think, breakthrough with the Army Readiness Center. They are willing to accept as a commitment for water an executed development agreement with us. So we don't have to have the water line in the ground and everything paid for. So we're going to be able to wrap that one up this year. And I'm hoping to bring that forward to you so that we make their deadlines and keep them moving forward. But we've got a lot of great things happening, and I'm looking forward to working with all the council members on your retreat and the execution of what you deem us to do out of that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would echo that. It's a great year. This past year, despite that word that we'll try to banish, we had the right people in place doing the right things to get us advanced down the road. I'm very positive about the new year coming up. And I will go back just momentarily, and I do appreciate, Chris, that you pointing out that Londi was a big part of that. Mike, you got big shoes again to fill. You know, stepping in. She's And with that, I want to ask each council member to be sure to reach out to Mike in the coming weeks and have a chat with him on some legal issue so that he does remember that he is now your primary resource for legal advice. And with that is the reminder that Londi, while she will be around for a while longer, helping me with some HR issues, Dave and Don and I, that she is no longer legal counsel for the city. So don't go to her. So
Mayor,
thank you very much.
Mayor, just one thing as you wrap up, I can't believe that you just insisted that Miss Lindell has large feet and that Mr. Kenyon is going to have a hard time filling those shoes. I've observed her feet and I find them to be of normal proportion.
Thank you, Mr. Loudenbeck. I knew there's reasons I usually try to keep you muted. Moving along, so as you've already heard, moving into more general comments here, the Governor Inslee today did announce a revised Healthy Washington Roadmap to Recovery Plan with just 2 phases and a new regional versus county by county approach. We will get a summary of the new guidelines for businesses and individuals along with the links to the plan out tomorrow. Again, we're not creating the information, we're going to get you what the governor has put out. On that note, though, as also was mentioned, North Bend continues to see an uptick in the coronavirus activity with 42 new cases reported recently within a 2-week period with a positivity test rate of 17.5%. It is imperative that residents follow public health guidelines regarding wearing a mask, social distancing, keep your circle of contacts small, and help prevent this spread. There is free high-capacity COVID-19 testing available at Bellevue College for anyone, regardless of insurance or immigration status. That test site is open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I believe the Snoqualmie Valley Hospital continues to offer testing as well. I think it's a slightly different format. Additionally, Washington State Department of Health launched a new statewide COVID-19 exposure notification tool last month. It's called Washington Notify, WA Notify. Is a simple anonymous exposure notification tool, which when added to your smartphone will alert you if you have spent time near another Washington Notify user who tests positive for COVID. Since its launch, over 1.5 million people have added it to their smartphones. More information about this and the COVID-free testing site are available on the news section of the city's website. Of note, and we've gotten many positive responses of this, you may have noticed that the holiday lights in downtown North Bend are still up. In an effort to brighten everyone's spirits during these dark winter months, these lights will stay up through the end of February. The city would like to thank the Downtown Foundation for funding the purchase of the extra lights to do that. And with that, just before calling for a adjournment, good night and go Bucks. Sorry, guys. Mr. Loudenbeck, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Not after that last comment. Go Bucks. We could stay here all night and discuss that. No. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. We are adjourned. Look
Good night,
forward to
everybody.
seeing you again soon.
Good night, everybody.
Aye.
Happy New Year.